What are some of the hidden signs that you go through before a spiritual upgrade? Hi, my name is Charlene Matthews, owner of Safe Space Wellness. Let's get right into it. But first, I ask that you please subscribe, hit the subscribe button and the like button, where we talk about a lot of things holistic, spiritual, and even random topics, just to inform you, empower you. So let's get right into it. So, one of the things that a lot of people are not aware of is those what I like to call hidden things that we go through that we're not aware of when going through a spiritual upgrade. Because when we're going through an upgrade or thinking about an upgrade, we're thinking about good things happening. We're never thinking about the storm that hits before the calm. So let's talk about that storm. So, one of the things I wanted to start with is upheavals. So we have upheavals. Let's start with the emotional upheavals. And this is where you start to notice that old emotions can start to resurface back into your life. Emotions that you thought you conquered maybe in the past that are suddenly start to resurface out of nowhere. You may even start to question whether or not you've actually been doing the work now that these things are coming back up. I'm here to tell you, yes, you did do the work. You did. And you can still be carrying what we like to call remnants of these old emotions. And this is just your body's way of saying, hey, this remnant it rode with you up to this point, but now it can no longer go with you. And before I can elevate you, we must bring this up to release. And that's simply all that your body is doing, is making you aware that now that we're going to this next level, this is another level, this can no longer go with you. So these things they start to come back up. And also the next thing I want to talk about is those symptoms of anxiety and body aches that you go through. So you may deal with headaches. You may deal with, especially when it comes to that third eye and the expansion of the third eye. You go through headaches, body aches, all of these things. All of these things is your body's way of preparing for an upgrade. And so, in preparation for an upgrade, and that can be anything from a frequency upgrade. So, your body needs to be able to handle these things. And therefore, it's pretty much upgrading, getting ready to handle or be able to cope with a higher frequency than what you were normally operating in, and that type of thing. So this is why you experience those upheavals of a lot of emotional and even, we'll say, physical symptoms. And that's where all of that comes from. And this goes into the next thing of changing habits. You may notice that suddenly you are no longer wanting to participate in habits that you feel no longer serve you. And those habits can be anything from the way you eat, your diet. You may decide, like, I no longer want to have this, eat like this anymore, because every time I eat this way, it makes me feel groggy. It makes me feel weighed down. And I notice that when I make these changes, I start to feel better in my body, my mind, my energy, and everything. So habits can be anything. It could be the company you keep, that, people you're surrounded by, or if you were still hanging on to a little bit of party life, you start to change. You no longer want to do that. You see that that's no longer serving you in this upgrade. And so now it's, your body goes through these changes. Sometimes, whether you're ready for them or not, you're going to go through them. And so those are one of those things that seems to happen. And the next thing I want to talk about is, once again, I call it more on the physical upheavals. And this is where you start to encounter people that are from your past all of a sudden resurfacing back up in your life. And what you need to understand, that this is a form of a test of some sort. Now it's up to you how you handle it and how you address it, and that determines whether you're ready for the next level or not. So there's this saying that I love, this quote, and it says, the people you meet are either reflections of a repeated cycle or guides towards a new start. Notice the difference. And when it comes to someone from your past, that could go either way. They're either showing you that, hey, you're still repeating this cycle and we can't go to the next level until you take care of this. Or they could show you, I handled this differently this time. So this is showing me that I have truly grown, that I have actually worked through the issues that I worked through. And so that's why I said this is a form of a test that you go through sometimes when you have people resurfacing back. So just remember that even after having an awakening, growth and lessons, they never stop. They never stop coming. The only thing that life is doing is teaching us how to better navigate through choppy waters and crossing over into more calmer waters. That's the only thing it's doing. So that's all for this topic. And before we leave, I would like to go into, I usually have a box that goes into a quote that I ended with, but I did not have it this time, but I do have a quote, and it says, I can't move how others move because I'm not moved by what others are moved by. Stay up.